looks like another disgruntled Houston Rockets star wants out. And this time, it is none other than James Harden. What is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports Talk. Back at it with another video talking, of course, some NBA. And here to talk about this rumor and report now that James Harden is basically requesting a trade from the Houston Rockets, similar to what Russell Westbrook also did. And he wants out of Houston, all right? He wants out, and he's named a number of teams, including the Sixers and the Nets, as preferred destinations as he wants to go to a title contender. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about what should the Houston Rockets do here in this situation, right? Your best player wants out. Do you trade him? Do you not? We need to talk about it before we do it. If you're new to the channel, make sure to go ahead and subscribe, guys. I am bringing you a ton of NBA content, and it's going to be crazy nonstop with the season right around the corner. But before that, we've got the draft, we've got free agency, we've got trades. Like, there's so much that's happening here. You're going to want to be locked in and tuned into the channel because I'm giving you the best NBA analysis you can find. There's no doubt about that. All right, so go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell icon, and go ahead and follow me on all my social media accounts, folks. Links down below and on the screen for that. So with that being said, let's get into it. So I wanted to make this video a few days ago, but I wanted to wait because I didn't know how legitimate these rumors were. All right, we had been hearing about James Harden wanting out, just like Russell Westbrook, which I talked about in a separate video. So if you guys want to hear my thoughts on that, go ahead and check that out. But we had been hearing, rumors about James Harden wanting out too, but I wanted to get some legitimate sources confirmed on that. And now we do. Shams of The Athletic has confirmed it. Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN. So now we know it's for real. Apparently, James Harden wants to be traded to a championship contender, and the two teams that have been listed are the Philadelphia 76ers and the Brooklyn Nets. All right, so this makes sense, right? Look, the Houston Rockets, they're in shambles right now. The entire roster is unhappy. Their GM, Daryl Morey, dipped. He's in Philly now, so funny enough, the 76ers want him. And so you've got Russell Westbrook, who doesn't want to be there. You've got PJ Tucker, who's unhappy with his contract. And it's just, it's bad right now. So it's no wonder James Harden wants out, because he knows this experiment with the Rockets is over. The bigger question is, should the Houston Rockets go ahead and request Harden's wishes and go ahead and trade him? Because he's still under contract, and technically the Rockets don't have to trade him. But here's the thing. This never works out well if you keep a disgruntled superstar. And James Harden, make no mistake about it, he is a superstar. Russell Westbrook isn't. James Harden's a superstar. And James Harden is an asset that will get you back so much. Like, he is going to get you back a ton, all right? Unlike Russell Westbrook, who is, to me, more of a liability than an asset. Like, there's not going to be teams interested in trading for Russell Westbrook. The opposite is the case for James Harden, who's got a monster contract, but we know he's a top 5, at worst, top 7 player in the NBA. And so if I'm the Houston Rockets, I am absolutely trading James Harden. And here's why. The GM's gone. Daryl Morey's gone. It looks like there's a reset that needs to happen with the Houston Rockets. And I would have been okay with keeping Harden and trying to build around him. But the only problem is James Harden obviously is not getting younger. So that works in your favor because you don't have a lot of time. And 2, you don't have assets on your roster that you can ship out to bring in help, right? What do you do if you're the Houston Rockets? You either trade James Harden to get good players, or you get good players around James Harden. Well, the Rockets have been trying that for years now, right? It was Chris Paul. That didn't work out, although that one year where Chris Paul got hurt against Warriors, maybe they could have gotten to the finals. But again, semantics. Then they got Russell Westbrook. That didn't work out. So you've tried to put players around James Harden. That hasn't worked out. You've tried a system with Mike D'Antoni. That hasn't worked out. He's gone also, by the way, with the Brooklyn Nets. So funny enough, right? The Brooklyn Nets have Mike D'Antoni, his former coach, and then the former GM is with the Sixers, and those are the two teams that are interested. So it's just funny how that works. So you've tried this. It hasn't worked out. Are you willing to try it again? Because what do you do now? like I mentioned, nobody is going to want Russell Westbrook, so you're not going to get a star back in return for him, and certainly not one that's going to, propel you to championship contention. So I just don't see very many paths here for the Houston Rockets to keep James Harden and still be a title contender, right? And if James Harden isn't happy, if Russell Westbrook isn't happy, then you probably are not going to change their minds, because as sad as it is, their best chance of being a title contender is just keeping both of them, because I don't think there's a trade out there where you trade both of them or one of them and you get better, right? In the short term. Long term, absolutely, but not short term. So long answer short is I would absolutely move James Harden if I'm the Houston Rockets. I think the time is up now. You tried, it didn't happen, and now it's at the point where he's unhappy. The second a star's unhappy, like, it's tough. So unless you can pull off a crazy move out there, which I don't see, it's probably time to trade James Harden. Now, as far as the Sixers and the Brooklyn Nets, which team makes sense? Well, I just want the most assets possible. So whatever team gives me that, that's all I care about. I don't care about shipping him to Philly versus Brooklyn. All I care about, if I'm the Houston Rockets, is what I'm getting out of it. So from what I've heard with the Brooklyn Nets, I mean, it would be a monster package. Obviously, Spencer Dinwiddie would be involved. Karis LeVert would be the prize of that trade. We know they're not going to trade KD and Kyrie because they want to have their own big three with Harden. And so Dinwiddie, LeVert, probably Jared Allen, probably a Taurean Prince, and then throw in a couple first-round picks, right? That would be the compensation for a James Harden. What about the Sixers? Well, you've got Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. We've been talking about breaking them up for years, so you got to trade one of them for James Harden, because it's not going to be a deal. Otherwise, nobody wants Al Horford and his god-awful contract. Josh Richardson maybe, but again, who's the big name? It would probably be Ben Simmons. So you trade Ben Simmons, first round picks, throw in some salary fillers, and now you would have James Harden, Joel Embiid, maybe a Tobias Harris. So that would be kind of what the deal would look like. So if I'm the Houston Rockets, I much prefer the Brooklyn Nets deal. You're getting a young player in Karis LeVert who you can build around. You're getting draft picks out of it. The other guys are good as well, and Dinwiddie and Jared Allen, again, keep them, flip them. It is what it is. But over here with the Sixers, I am getting a building block in Ben Simmons. But at the same time, do I want to build around Ben Simmons? It's interesting. So to me, I would just take a look and see who gives me the better offer. Right now, the Nets offer looks a little bit better. But the Sixers can certainly, make it a lot better too. And here's the other thing. If I'm James Harden, I want to go to the Brooklyn Nets. If it's all about winning a championship, I mean, call it ring chasing, call it what it is. I'm going to the Brooklyn Nets because KD, Kyrie, and James Harden next year, that's not even close. They're the favorite to come out of the East. Am I saying they're going to be the title favorites over the Lakers? Maybe, maybe not. But certainly the East would be over, right? Nobody's competing with that. Not the Bucks, not the Raptors, not the Heat. Nope, I'm sorry, they're not. All right, a healthy KD, Kyrie, and Harden, it's a wrap. Now, they'd be messed defensively for sure, but they're the best team in the East. Again, I'm not saying they'd beat the Lakers, but it would certainly be an argument. You go to the Sixers if you're James Harden, and now you got Harden, Embiid, and, maybe like I said, a Tobias Harris. I don't think that is a guarantee to win the East. Like, it would be good, it would be nice, but I don't think that's a guarantee. Brooklyn Nets, it's a guarantee. So if you're James Harden, if it's all about winning a ring, Brooklyn Nets is the team for you. If it's not, maybe the Sixers, but Sixers would still be a title contender to be for sure with Harden. But yeah, if it's all about a ring, I would go to the Brooklyn Nets. So that's where I'm at with it, folks. Look, I expect ultimately this to happen. I do think James Harden gets moved because if the season starts, you keep him, he gets hurt, his value shot. Like, you got to sell high at this point. And with the Houston Rockets, they're not going anywhere. Their owner, Tillman Fertitta, I'm sure, he's fed up with the fact that, he's paying these guys so much money and they haven't done much. And so he's come out and said that as well. So I'm pretty sure that this is going to happen. It's just a hunch. I don't have sources. I'm not Shams or Woj, but I do think this happens. I do think that James Harden gets moved. And my prediction would be to the Brooklyn Nets to join KD and Kyrie. So there you have it, folks. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below if you agree with me or disagree. As always, thanks for watching.